Where you at, Berto?
I made this shit look too easy.
Why Colombian Latinas are killing lonely men for profit. Now, I'm not gonna lie, we all kind of heard before that Spanish women are crazy, but I didn't know they was catching bodies out here too.
A 28-year-old software developer from Atlanta wakes up alone in a hotel room, 1,975 miles from home. The room is just completely trashed and he has no memory of the night before.
This has to be a passport bro situation. I mean, what possessed you to go alone to a different country for some cheeks, and now you're waking up confused, dazed and confused like that Mr. Crab meme, all because you was that damn bad? I mean, look, I'm already seeing how this is playing out. Y'all gotta comment if I'm right. Watch this. It's gonna be a passport bro situation.
Scrambling for a phone that is no longer there, he notices empty bottles on the nightstand, sheets pulled off the bed, and panic starts to set in. He swipes the clothes on the floor to check for his wallet, his bag, even his expensive work watch, all gone. The more his eyes dart across the room looking around, the more painful his headache becomes. This wasn't a normal hangover. There's a metal taste in his mouth and his stomach is starting to cramp. Marcus can hardly think straight and just wants to go home. But at least my passport is still secure, he thinks. But then he sees it. The door of the hotel safe wide open and empty. Anxiety.
All the money gone. God damn. And the reason why I don't really feel bad for people in these type of situations, because again, it's like you are leading with lust. I say it all the time, but I say it again. You leave a life with lust, you're finna get bust. Every time. Every time. You just want to fuck a hoe so bad on the first night. Your ass flew to Colombia and now they robbing you. You lucky you still living and breathing.
Anxiety turns to dread. They took everything. But just a few days ago, everything was fine. So what happened? His memory was blank besides the faintest hint of perfume and cigarette smoke. He closed his eyes and could hear the echo of clicking high heels on a marble floor, a woman's voice speaking rapid Spanish down the phone. And then from that, a word sounded through the pain in his head. It was
Shakira, Shakira. Dun 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 dun. Gonna rob your bitch ass for your money. Oh yeah, finesse your ass with my hips don't lie. Finesse your stupid ass. Alright, let me chill. Lock in.
name, Camilla.
Camilla. Ooh. Ain't that
A week ago, Marcus sat in his apartment staring at his phone in total silence. He'd been messaging an American woman for 2 weeks. It felt like real conversations, not just small talk. She'd actually engaged with his story, she asked about his work and seemed genuinely interested in him. For the first time in months, he felt like maybe he was getting somewhere. Like maybe he'd finally broken through that invisible wall that seemed to exist between him and the opposite gender. After a couple of beers, he asked, a simple dinner invitation.
Hey, this is not a brand deal, but just for anybody wondering, this is Liquid Death water. It's not alcohol. Just had to put that out there because it is kind of shaped like one. And I don't want nobody thinking nothing weird. Water. This is water. See it? Mountain water. Just had to put that out there, okay?
Nothing pushy. She read this message, and then there was no reply. A typical thing for him. Typical. He just had that feeling again that he couldn't shake. This woman was another in a sequence of rejection. His heart grew colder and his perspective dimmer and darker. Later that night, he found himself in a familiar territory. He'd been searching Medellin for months, partly because he'd heard good things from people he knew, but also because of the content that had been piped into his feed. Non-stop videos of these guys filming themselves on GoPros, partying with beautiful women in exotic places.
Told y'all, that passport bro life. The reality is, there's nothing wrong with wanting to travel, bro. There's nothing wrong with wanting to experience something. But it's just like, the whole thought process to me personally, to travel across the globe just to hit some shit, it just shows like, for me, like, it's like I don't want to judge nobody, but it's like, damn, you really couldn't muscle up and just figure out some shit in your place, like where you live. You think it's like that grass is always greener mentality. It's like, oh, all the girls in America are X, Y, and Z, so I have to go overseas. Now, what I will say is there's a different culture over there, and there's a different like temperament of women over there, just because they were raised differently culturally. But I promise you, there's good women out here too. You just have to put the work in, bruh. Nothing worth having in life comes easy, and that is the reality of everything. And I think too much people try to take the easy way out. And you know what happens when you take the easy way out? Just as fast as it comes is just as fast as it leaves. So yo ass might gotta clap some Latina cheeks. Woo! Spicy, yeah. But that motherfucker gonna burn your stupid ass. And now you looking around the room like this. It's not worth it, bro.
Where you could just be with a beautiful, wholesome woman, drinking cheap beers on an exotic beach, speaking some broken Spanish, and really just enjoying life. And all it seemed to take was a plane flight. Marcus understood that he was in a vulnerable state, but he just couldn't stop himself. How could you? How could you even resist the temptation of this? He'd started off just watching simple dating content or discussions on how romance in the Western world had changed. But after getting recommended content showing how much different dating abroad was, and the seemingly infinite upside you get as a young American bachelor with some cash, he grew more and more desperate, and now he just needed one little push. Maybe it was that last chat he had with the woman, or perhaps the powerful influences telling him how Western women take everything from men and give nothing back. He found his thoughts changing. Earlier that very same day, he found himself snapping at another bland girl, spilling coffee in his arm. The same as all the rest, useless and out to get him. He didn't know what was happening to his mind, but he felt profanities echo around it in women's presence.
I will also say, watching this and kind of hearing the lore behind this nigga situation, I mean, goddamn, nigga. He's having the worst time ever. So, I mean, I do see where the frustration's coming from. And at some people just get to a point where they're done. You hit your breaking point. But it's like, I encourage you to hold out, bro. I encourage you to hold out. I'm not going to act like I've never done anything out of desperation, because that would be an absolute lie, you know? But I'm also telling you from experience, not in this particular situation. I've never been in this situation, but it's like, anytime you do anything out of desperation, bro, it always backfires, bro. Always, every single time.
Sinking another drink, his finger hovered over the confirm button for his flights.
600? Shit. That don't look like a cheap flight to me. I'm not paying 600. That's too much. I'm flying that Spirit, and I'm waiting for that motherfucker to at least be 200. Yeah. Let's just know, I'm Mr. Krabs over here. I like to save my money, nigga. I'm straight off that. That's a lot of money.
And he clicked. In just a few hours, he lands in Medellin. The heat slaps him in the face, and he knows he's somewhere completely different. And he wasn't the only one. There are about 8 to 9 single men also with him from America in queue near him, all likely going for the same reason. But he did know that over 1 million people visit this popular Colombian city every year. It's a tourist hotspot. He'd read about the world-class museums, the vibrant nightlife.
I will say, I know them motherfuckers look good, and I heard them Colombians over there look crazy. Woo! Enough to make a grown man cry and give it up. Hey, that's what I'm just being realistic. You know, they call them the devil in the dress. Sometimes they look so good, you don't got an option. That's why you gotta stay away. They evil. And
the stunning architecture. The weather was perfect all year round, the food's exceptional, there's amazing coffee, and everything costs a fraction of what you'd pay back home. But if we're being real, that wasn't the top of his mind right now. Marcus had more romantic plans. Romance tourism to cities like Medellin is a movement that spans continents and crosses borders. It's an entire industry of people foregoing relationships at home to take on something bolder and more fruitful abroad. Some actively embrace terms like passport bros, pushed by influencers with massive followings who've turned this lifestyle into a business. The Our Passport Bros subreddit has grown to over 80,000 members in just a few years, creating an international network where countries are ranked on maps and experiences shared for how great they are for men like Marcus. While Colombia has dominated the headlines, a few countries rank at the top of the best locations for passport bros, from Thailand to Vietnam to the Philippines and Brazil and even Eastern Europe. Some men actually go to this community and showcase their success to get advice or actually provide some value to other men looking to do the same thing, but not everyone is lucky. And then there's the opportunists, making a commodity out of hundreds of people like Marcus and turning romance tourism into an industry that serves them, and not the vulnerable men they purport to care about. What Marcus didn't realize was that his arrival was predictable and hadn't gone unnoticed by those who'd learned to profit from young, vulnerable men. The digital pipeline that had delivered him here was just one side of an equation he didn't yet understand. But the course was set. One of the first things he did when he gets to Medellin was download Tinder, and suddenly like that he was starting to get all these matches with women he could never get back at home. And this is when he matched with a beautiful looking woman named Camilla on Tinder, and she suggested meeting at Hotel Dan Carlton. She mentioned this had the best view in El Poblado, the main place for expats in Medellin, adding, "You'll love it." But unbeknownst to Marcus, that one simple message would change everything. Camilla watched Marcus
got his ass whipped, ready to do whatever, crash out for the pussy. Golly. Oh, Camilla. You see, that sound just like Shakira. I'ma take ya, all your money, and drug you, put you to sleepy. And if your money's good, I might just take your fucking body and kill ya and dump ya in a river. My name is Camilla. Ooh. Stop playing.
His face light up when he saw her. He was nervous and couldn't believe how attractive she was. But for Camilla, this was just another tourist, another rooftop bar, and another performance. She was just 24, but she'd been doing this for at least 2 years now. She studied nursing during the day, that part was always true when she told them. But in the evening, she worked a different kind of shift. She wasn't necessarily a prostitute, at least not exactly. She told herself that distinction mattered. She was more like a tour guide. Camilla put Marcus at ease, told him how excited she was to show him her city, and it wasn't entirely fake. He seemed kind, courteous, genuinely interested in what she had to say, and after a few drinks she could see his confidence returning. In another life, maybe this could have all been real, but tonight was different for Camilla.
And this is where it's like, on some shit, y'all scared of American women, but we can't even give American women this much credit. Like, they be doing stupid shit because they just want the best option. You know what I'm saying? Let's just, I'm not even gonna play devil's advocate here. Like, let's just put it in the most shallow way possible. Girls in America, they'll leave your stupid ass because they feel like you're not good enough. They feel like they can find something better. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, it's like you're going above and beyond. You're simping. You're showing all this love and and then they kind of just like, there's another nigga that's richer, so I'm gonna go for him. At the very least, you got your life, you got your dignity. It is what it is. But these girls, they are like they are like 100% faking. 100, like they are like, I'm gonna give you a fantasy tonight, and by the end of it, I'm gonna rob you for everything you own. And if you're lucky, I'll let you live. But if I feel like this could come back to me in any way, shape, or form, I'm gonna take your life. And don't let that fool you, because I'm never gonna get caught either. Because this is in Colombia, it's not the US. Nobody cares about you. I'm taking my chances with the American women, bro. I'm not going out like this. Me personally.
She never lets those thoughts get to her for too long, as she's been discussing a new technique with her friends the night before, something industrially efficient. Her friend Isabella had been using this for months. She'd shown Camilla the small vial of white powder, explaining how just a tiny amount could render a man completely compliant. With that, you can kill 10 people, but it's better in powder form. You rub it on their chest, Isabella explained. The substance came from the bolachero tree, drunken bin.
You don't even gotta drink it? So a motherfucker can be like, hey, baby, let me give you a massage and massage your ass to death. Nah. Damn, that's crazy.
That grew wild throughout Colombia. It produces beautiful white bell-shaped flowers that hang like lamps. In the West, it's better known as Datura or the Angel's Trumpet, but Camilla knew it by its street name, Devil's Breath. Most call it scopolamine. It's tasteless, odorless, and you can hide it on a business card and just blow it in someone's face. And the results of this can be described as zombification. Within minutes, victims enter a state of zombie-like compliance. They'll hand over their valuables willingly, follow instructions without question, even withdrawing their money from ATMs with their captors.
This is like some movie shit, bro. What?
Standing right beside them. 50 milligrams of it can kill you, but deaths are pretty rare. Victims usually just stay compliant longer. Some reports still feeling the effects of the high for 15 days.
Duré 17 días viajando con otro parcero. Mi parcero se quedó en el viaje. El man hoy en día anda así en la calle.
When victims do eventually wake up, sometimes 24 hours later, they remember absolutely nothing. It literally blocks the neurotransmitters in the brain responsible for recording memory. The US State Department reports unofficial estimates of 50,000 scopolamine incidences per year in Colombia, more than 130 every single day. According to the National Police, a scopolamine attack occurs every 10 hours in Bogota, with police admitting the vast majority of incidences are men poisoned by women from small street gangs called micro cartels. Camilla studied Marcus across the table as he talked about his work, his hopes for the trip, but he just had no idea what was coming, or that there was an entire industry preying on people like him. Was this coldly calculated? At this point, yes. She felt glimpses of something else, pity, maybe even guilt, but once again, she knew how to dull those doubts.
Yeah, and she's not even feeling that, nigga. This is just another regular Tuesday, nigga. She got John scheduled for Wednesday night, nigga. She ain't feeling no guilt. This is regular work.
After all, she hadn't planned for her life to turn out this way, and Marcus had come here looking for exactly this, right? Two different paths at the same table, and she wasn't really caring about what he was saying, it was just time to move. So she excused herself to the bathroom, did the end of a cigarette into the powder, then returned with a smile. When I step outside for some air, 50 minutes passed and she watched the change happen exactly as Isabella had described. Marcus looked up at her, confused for half a second, then with that glazed expression she'd been told to expect. "Let's go somewhere quieter," she said. He nodded like a child and just followed her. Now by this point, Marcus clearly found himself in an extremely dangerous position as they got into the cab. He was sucked in, and you could even say lured in, by a powerful travel industry built around dating abroad. But behind the soft lighting, the palm trees, and the smiling local women in influencer videos is a huge growing business. One that turns male loneliness into views, subscriptions, and paid coaching funnels. Romance tourism has always been popular, but love is one of the most easily corrupted emotions. One of the
mad as fuck with me. She gonna pull me to the ATM like, "Hey, swipe your card." I'm like, "Okay." Boom. Decline. She gonna be like, "Do it again, do it again." Okay. Boom. Decline. I ain't got no money for you, shorty. I spent my last few $100 coming here to see you. I'm broke. Hell no. Imagine that.
Main things you can manipulate men with, and it's manifested itself as an industry of mixed and often dark intent. Women abroad like Camilla are depicted as respectful to men in a way that those at home aren't. They're receptive. But some just depict them as just easy to pick up. Some have actually been accused of using the same women in their videos or paying them to join as a part of their marketing game. The same influencers who claim women in other countries respect men more are often the same ones who are seen with multiple women on each arm. They're picking up women in the street, showing how easy it is to hook up. Most of all, they just make it look so effortless. If you have a Western passport, you'll get the hottest women. You just stop them in the street, chat to them, and that's all you need to do. Even just doing this in English, not speaking their native language. Just be confident and it will all fall into place. Oh, and maybe pick up their course for $1,000 a month just to be sure you get all of their tips. The dangers of this just can't be ignored. Many warn followers to take a picture of a girl's ID before bringing them home. Some joke about getting scoped, drugged, and robbed, like it was just part of the adventure. For some, it's part of the thrill. You'd think people like Camilla would be more aware of these stories than Marcus, but the influencers tout these stories as if they were some funny holiday event.
There's not a doubt about it. Colombian women are the most beautiful women in the world, but they're also the most dangerous. You never know when they might slip in your drink. You never know. You might wake up without your phone, your iPad, your credit card's missing, $5,000 in cash. You go.
Yeah, no, I'm crashing out over that. It's not worth it, bruh. Just to get a nut off? It's not worth it. You travel across the globe just to get a nut off and potentially robbed, drugged, killed. Y'all can't be this down bad, bro. At that point, you really got to look in the mirror like, what am I doing? It's like the act of traveling isn't bad. I'm not saying that if you want to go experience Colombia with your friends or whatever, like, I'm not saying the act of that is bad, but it's just like, when you really dig deep and the focal point of you making this move is just to get some cat, it's like, yo, that can't be the thing that's leading your life decisions, bro. It can't be.
I got scoped here.
What happened?
2 years ago. That's the coolest part. I don't know what happened. I woke up.
That's the good. Niggas are lame, bro. That's the coolest part. I don't know what happened. Bro, when niggas start talking like that, I instantly start zoning out because it's like, you're weird. You're weird. That's like them white boys at the raves, like, oh yeah, bro. I'm so fucked up, I don't remember. Why wouldn't you want to remember? What? That doesn't make no sense.
I woke up without my shit.
The darkest truth is some romance tourists like Marcus never actually come home. People in Marcus's position, following the advice of men who apparently care about their love lives, have suffered horrible endings while in their pursuits of respectful women. Take the tragic story of Paul Nguyen, a 27-year-old logistics consultant from California who didn't return to his Airbnb after going on a Tinder date in 2022. He'd taken a Snapchat photo of his date, a slim brown-haired woman in a white jacket. The next morning, he didn't return to the Airbnb and his friends raised an alarm. It turned out that his credit card was used multiple times in odd late-night transactions. 12 hours later, his body was then discovered behind a trash bin 5 miles away from the bar.
The family of a young man from Orange County is struggling with their grief and at the same time trying to find out how and why he was killed while on vacation in Colombia.
Then there was Tao Xiong, a 50-year-old Minnesota comedian who called his family in December 2023 saying he needed $2,000 because he'd been kidnapped. The family then sent the money through PayPal immediately, but it wasn't enough. The next morning, his body was found at the bottom of a ravine near the Robledo district.
Sent the money and they still didn't let you go, bro. And this is sad, bro. This is sad. But it's like, again, I'm not sympathizing with the people that are doing the killing, and I'm not excusing it. It's just like, you gotta understand, bro, culturally, that shit don't mean nothing to them. Like, it's literally just a regular day. And I know that is so crazy to wrap your mind around. But people like this, like, they're broken. They're literally broken. So you can't, it's like, you wouldn't reason with a crazy person, right? You know, when you walking down the street and there's a homeless person in your city going, hey, get good money. Like, you don't look at that person and think, oh, I'm going to have a decent conversation with them. And I'm not even trying to be funny. You wouldn't think to yourself, I can have a sensible conversation with this person, right? It's this in a different way, but it's the same. When you talking to cold-hearted killers, you're not gonna sympathize with a killer, nigga. I just want that money. And if I feel like it, I'll dump your body in a river, but leave you conscious enough to wake up. But it's probably smarter for me to just knock you off. So why wouldn't they? You know? I don't know, bro. Again, it's like, and there's a third world country. It's say the U.S. So unless you're like a high profile celebrity or something, like they not gonna come looking for you, bro. You gone. And nobody's gonna there's not gonna be no justice served for this. It's not worth it, bro. Just focus on yourself, level up, and find you a girl in your city, my nigga. Or at least your country, goddamn. Like, what?
He'd been tied, tortured, stabbed, and then thrown 260 feet down a cliff. Other survivors described the same pattern. A 28-year-old businessman, also a victim of scopolamine in Colombia, told reporters, quote, I matched with a girl on Tinder. Just another girl, I thought, just another date. She took my iPad, my phone, my wallet, my credit cards, my ID, everything but my laptop.
He got out easy too.
And if you're shocked by these two men dying in the pursuit of pleasure, it's more common than you might think. And this issue may lay a lot closer to home than imagined. Porn addiction will mentally kill you long before you reach the same fate as these guys. Quitter is on a mission to take over the industry, help men regain control of their lives, and finally break free from this evil habit.
Now list looks like a brand deal, but the fact that they're coming out with apps to stop you from gooning, it's like, I'm happy that they're trying to find solve the problem, but holy shit, we have apps locking you out from gooning. We're still in 2025, man. How far does this go? How bad is this gonna get? Jesus.
Before it's too late. Like others before him, Marcus had been sold the dream of finding true love and delivered as prey. Now, as he was led out of the cab and to his hotel room by Camilla, he found himself at the mercy of forces above what he didn't foresee. You see, Camilla had actually tried OnlyFans as an escape route when she was younger, but this was way more effective. She was so close to finishing her nursing degree, but without tuition money, she'd have to drop out. Like so many countries targeted by romance tourists, most of the Colombian population is below the poverty line. Not many weeks ago, she created her first dating profile and joined a different kind of pipeline, a network of women targeting gringos. Not always Americans, but any foreigner with hard currency, who was naive enough to really believe they'd found true love. So here's what's really happening while you're watching these glossy, perfect influencer videos showing Colombia and other dangerous countries in a similar way. Local networks are working and studying these men who deliver these dreams. They want you to believe in an image so that they can milk you. The system for exploiting men on the ground in places like Colombia has evolved around the same time as the male loneliness epidemic, the one that these influencers get paid from. While online opportunities cultivated men like Marcus for months, local networks had learned to position themselves at the end of that pipeline, ready to extract their own value. In Colombia, some women work alone, others with gangs. Journalists in Medellin have even uncovered gang bosses like the so-called Queen of Scopolamine, a serial killer who killed between 5 to 6 men, although according to her court testimony, there were a considerable amount of others. Now, of course, Colombian authorities are aware of this problem, but they're overwhelmed. In a city with more than 25,000 reported robberies annually, only a fraction ever lead to arrests. And most of the time, nobody's talking to the police, they're completely corrupt. But that's not the point. Why are these men coming here in the first place? What is pushing them here? Is dating that bad in the West now that we need to find other poor countries where we can
The answer, it's gotten very bad, but this isn't the solution, bruh. Again, social media, TikTok, and all these influencers, toxic alpha males, feminists, it's gotten bad. And, you know, there's a lot of women that have changed their philosophies in a negative way. And there's a lot of guys that have changed their philosophies in a negative way. But, again, you also attract what you focus on. So if you focus on negative people and you focus on living a negative life and that's what you're leading with, then yeah, you're going to attract those type of people and you're always going to be caught with friction, bro. I promise you. It's more of that than what you think.
Finally feel validated and actually find true love? What this shows is what's lacking in men today in the West, that they feel so compelled to go to dangerous countries like these to find love, all because the people they interact with in their own countries seems to always reject them, or just be people they can't have any real connection with. Because this isn't just happening in Medellin, but it's also now starting to happen in many other cities around the world, targeting these Western tourists, from Manila to Bangkok. So cracking down too hard on the very image of warm hospitality is a complicated business. Even Camilla, who's stuck in this web just like Marcus, as she's had to grow up in a country ravaged by drug cartels and obviously in a third world bad situation. She realized she would make a year's wage in a night if she performed the fantasy people like Marcus had built before stepping off the plane. And of course, it's just business for these people, executing a usual strategy, walking Marcus to numerous ATMs to get money out for what she told him repeatedly was more drinks, walking back to his hotel room, plastering him with more drinks to keep him compliant as she systematically ransacked his room. She then coerced him into opening his safe to access his passport and rummaged through his belongings for anything with any semblance of resale value, while Marcus spent most of the time slurring and flopping around on the floor between being sick. Then, after locking him away helplessly in a wrecked room, she left to pay some of her bosses, as you can't do many of these things without others noticing and demanding their cut. But the fact that this is even an industry in the first place is really an indictment to
Which is just another, like, you paying people off and they don't care, bruh. They don't care. You're just another fucking, what do they call it? cost of business, nigga. That's all you are. Niggas literally seeing it go down like, oh, what you got going? Oh, yeah, I'm just robbing this nigga for everything. Well, just make sure I get a piece of that. And I won't say nothing. Cost of business.
How bad dating must be in the West. If people are going to obviously dangerous countries to do this sort of thing, and it's so common that there's now an entire criminal economy around this stuff, shows there must be some issue at home if so many guys are falling into this trap. The modern dating crisis and the growing loneliness epidemic are quietly leading to more and more of these cases. Faced with rejection, social isolation, and a collapsing sense of purpose in the West, many men are just fleeing to these countries where dating feels more traditional, connection more accessible, and finally gaining a sense of love. Spurred on by influencers creating this echo chamber and this illusion that it's just impossible to find love in the West anymore. And in doing so, this is creating a global issue that's only getting so much worse. In Brazil, the US consulate in Rio recently issued a warning about drugging dating scams targeting tourists. Criminals seduce foreign men, slip sedatives into their drinks, then lose them and rob them in hotel rooms. We also see this in Bangkok and Bali, the same devil breath style scams, where victims are stumbling around like zombies, being completely controlled, their cards maxed out, and sometimes even overdose deaths. Medellin is just the most visible example, with 8 Americans vanished at once in late 2023, bringing the total to 29 deaths in recent years. It's so bad that even Tinder now has to place warnings on the app. On Facebook, we can see a private scopolamine victims group that has more than 5,000 members sharing stories and lookouts. Thousands more are warning about this on the Passport Bros Reddit itself. And while most survive, living with this kind of experience would be difficult for anyone, especially those most lonely and unloved. And now, staring at the ceiling of his own flat rather than a hotel room, Marcus is learning the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes when you think you're the customer, you're actually the product just being sold.
W video, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. On some real shit though, at the end of the day, just don't be desperate, bro. If you live a life of lust, you're finna get bust. Don't lead with lust, bro. Don't lead with lust. I know it's hard. I know it's definitely hard for some of my younger guys that feel like nobody's giving them a chance, and you know they're lonely. Y'all want affection. Y'all want to, you want to feel that intimacy with a woman. But the reality is, you just might need to work on yourself a little bit more, man. And maybe it's just not your time yet. You're still on the come up, bro. You're still on the come up, and it'll be worth it in the end. But that fast, instant gratification, looking for the easy way out, it will always lead to your demise. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys tap into the Twitch. The link to that will be in the description. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next one. My name's Bert. And
Where you at, Berto?